Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, and we got ourselves a Battlehawks ReKawp of their Week 3 just gutting beatdown to the DC Defenders when they lost 27-15. You got me. I got me a coffee drink. I just threw in a Zin. I got a whiskey in front of me. This game was hell to watch. I thought that I was going to be able to kind of spread it out over the last couple days. I was not able to do that because I had to do a 7-round mock draft for the Eagles, and that took a lot of time. But I did watch this game, and I watched this game all, in the last 6 hours. I watched this game. That's what I spent my evening doing. Evening, night. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with this. And I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend watching this game. Ever. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with this. All right. Part of me is thinking that this might be a burn the tape kind of game for the Battlehawks. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping it is. By the way, you got on this side, you got I just bumped the table. You got my boy Pete right here. I should say this now. That reminds me, if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify at Solid on Apple or Spotify, you can watch it on YouTube at Solid Pod. You can see which I can't do this. It's backwards. You can see my dog Pete. He's old. He's an old boy. You can see him on Solid Pod on YouTube. If you're not a dog person, you hate my dog for some reason because you're an asshole. You don't have to. You could listen to it on Solid on Spotify or Apple. But honestly, Pete would probably be heartbroken if you did that. So you should watch it. You should do both. Actually, you know what you should do? You should go on Spotify or Apple and then just press play. And then just mute that, like turn the volume down on that, and then go on to YouTube and then watch it there. And that would be pretty sick if you did that. And my boy Pete here, right here, would appreciate that. Anyway, this game is, I'm hoping that it's a burn the tape kind of game. Because from what I saw, brother, ain't good. I'm gonna start off. Instead of starting off with Manny, I'm going to do Manny last on offense. I'm going to start off with this offensive scheme. Phil McGeegan got absolutely exposed in this game. And the Battlehawks kind of like as a whole got exposed in this game, but Phil McGeegan, really did. And he'll get an award for it later. But the camera of the game just kept cutting to him in the press box, and man, when you took like the ACT or the SAT and you were just out of your league? Like for me, like highest math I ever did, I think was, I don't know, what's like the sine, cosine, like is that trig, I think? Or is whichever one that is, I was not good at it. And anything more than that, man, I was just like, I was just fucked. And like, I knew I was fucked. And I'm sure if you were watching me taking that test, like whoever was proctoring that test was like, that guy's fucked right now. And whenever the camera would cut to Phil McGeegan in the booth, man, it was like, this guy knows he's fucked. Like he is out of his league right now. And that, man, that's kind of the story of the offense for this game. He did have one answer, but he got to it so late in the game. And that was throw the ball to the tight ends. In I think it was on like the Battlehawks' last drive or second to last drive. I don't remember which one it was. The game was over by that point, really. It might have still been when the game was, what was that, like 15-18? It might have still been at that point. But man, even when the Battlehawks were down 3, it just really, really felt like they were not in it at all. They couldn't do anything on offense. And then they had 2 plays in a row where they hit tight ends. They hit Jake Sutherland on a mesh concept on a crosser. where he actually kind of got blown up when he was crossing the middle of the field, but he kept going and stayed in Manny Wilkins' eyes and got a first down. But the play before that, they threw it to Chase Allen, kind of is like a check down a little bit, and he got like 6 yards on it or something like that. So he did have answers, but they were way too late for that. It's like that's like going back to the ACT SAT metaphor here. It's like, oh, fuck, I know what tan means. That's a button on my calculator. I see that button is right here on my calculator. I can use that, but I can press this button instead of trying to have to do things in my head that clearly are not working. And then you realize that, and there's 5 minutes left on the test, and you're like, well, shit. I wish I would have known that was there 3 hours ago. So that way Jake Beckman didn't have to watch this goddamn game and just hate everything. So that would have been nice if you'd realized that. But yeah, no. The offense had no answers for anything. A very good way of thinking at it. Well, I don't know if this is a good way of thinking about it. I think it's very interesting. The Battlehawks had the same number of rushes as they did completions, which I don't know if that's telling or anything like that. They had 16 rushes and 16 completions. And I don't know if that. I just think that's interesting. I just wrote it down. I don't know. My brain is broken from this game. I in my ReHawction, I had said that the Battlehawks had completely abandoned the downfield game, and I believe that to be moderately true. They did try to run routes downfield, but really what this game comes down to, and I saw somebody commented this on like the Battlehawks Reddit, or maybe somebody even put it on like one of the comments on my videos or something like that. But like the game was lost in the trenches, and I 100% believe that. Now, the game was not lost. Well, I'll get to that when I get to the offensive line. But as far as the Battlehawks, let me see exactly what this summary said. I know the Battlehawks had a total of 7 first downs to DC's 22 first downs, and I mean that's also incredibly telling. 7 first downs, man. The Battlehawks ran 48 plays, and only 7 of those plays resulted in first downs. It's like it's not a world that you can live in, and it really all started with the way that they started all these drives. Okay, so here's the list of the Battlehawks plays that they ran on first downs. These are not plays that they got first downs. So these are the list of the plays that the Battlehawks ran on first downs. Okay, there's a 3-yard rush, 3 yards Jacob Saylor's rush, a 0-yard Jacob Saylor's rush, a -1 yard Jacob Saylor's rush, a 7-yard end around to Ja'Cour Pearson, a 3-yard Jarvian Howard rush, incomplete pass short to Ja'Cour Pearson, a 15-yard catch and run to Jacob Saylor's, an incomplete, it was just a throwaway, a 3-yard rush to Jacob Saylor's, a -1 yard rush to Jarvian Howard, an 8-yard catch and run to Jacob Saylor's, and a 4-yard catch and run by Jacob Saylor's. So if it's a first down, the way that you count, it's very easy to know what a successful play is on first down. All you have to do is get over half the yard. So you just have to get 5 yards on a first down in order for it to be considered a successful play. The Battlehawks had exactly 1, 2, 3 successful plays out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what is that? They had a 25% success rate on first down. And that's just not a world, again, it's just not a world that you can live in. And I mean, and to hope to have any kind of success. And in this game, it was their ultimate downfall. I mean, they were just constantly playing behind schedule. And it was just so pathetic. Again, I went over this in their in that ReHawction, but the Battlehawks drives is a 3 and out, 3 and out, that was an interception on third down, 5-yard drive, a 3 and out. No, not a 3 and out. That was 3 yards. That was 3 plays, but it also was a touchdown. 4 plays and a field goal, 8 plays and a field goal, a 3 and out, 4 plays and a field goal, 6 plays and a punt, 5 plays an interception, 4 plays an interception, and then is the end of the game. I mean, it was just, buddy, it was just brutal. I mean, what is that one? No, that's not that first one wasn't even a 3-and-out because that was the Manny Wilkins fumble on a third down, and then the second one wasn't a 3-and-out. That was 3 yard in an incomplete in a interception, a really bad interception too. So I mean, it's just you can't live on these 3-play drives, man. You can't, and it's all about being able to get some yardage on first down, man. It was real bad, but the Battlehawks, they had 1 first down and this is them getting first downs. They had 7 total first downs, but they had 1 in the first quarter. They had 3 in the second quarter. They had 1 in the third quarter, and they had 2 in the fourth quarter. And I mean, you can't do that, man. To go to the running, like the run scheme and everything like that. Apparently, this running game was, I mean, wildly predictable. And I'm basing that purely off of seeing the defenders' players, seeing them just sniff everything out. There was 3 or 4 times in my notes. I don't want to look it up, but there was 3 or 4 times in my notes where I was like, DeAndre Baker, that's number 2, the cornerback on the defenders. The guy that kept bringing up was a first-round draft pick by the Giants in like 2019. It's like, well, Giants, fuck them. This guy was sniffing out plays left and right. Like he would show like press man. He would come off of that, kind of come back and go into like he's going to cover the flat. But then as soon as the ball is snapped, before the handoff is even complete, he was breaking in and he was almost behind the line of scrimmage sometimes. Like he was there was something that he knew. I'm not saying it was like shenanigans or anything like that, but this run scheme and these plays that the Battlehawks were running were completely predictable to this defense, and they just kept shutting them down like that. The passing offense was bad. They kept, and this is a take that I'm trying to, and I believe it's right, but this is a take that I'm workshopping here. Checkdowns are not hot routes. Those are not hot routes. They threw the ball. I mean, I'll get to Manny's pass or passing chart and everything like that. But there's so many goddamn plays behind the line of scrimmage. Let me see if PFF can help me out with that. If I go to Manny Wilkins passing for this game, he had 8 passes behind the line of scrimmage, and I should say this, Manny Wilkins had a total of 29 passes and only 16 completions. He was 8 for 8 behind the line of scrimmage, and from plays that were passing plays that were less than 10 yards, he was 7 for 8. So I mean, everything was short passes. Everything was short passes, man. It was brutal, but these checkdowns they're not hot routes, and he had to constantly be checking the ball down in this game because he was getting absolutely no help from his line of scrimmage. There were several plays where they were throwing the ball to wide receivers who were not past the sticks. And that's a tricky one for me, is because like if it happens as often as it happened, again, that might have happened like 3 or 4 times where they're throwing the ball guys behind the line, behind the stick, or who weren't past the sticks. It's like these bad routes that these guys are running. Is Manny Wilkins not throwing the ball deep enough? I don't necessarily know if that was the case every single time, or is it bad coaching or bad play calling where they're running these plays where these guys aren't getting there. It's like, man, it was just like, it was very frustrating. And a couple of these plays where they're throwing the ball where it's not past the sticks, it's like those are on third downs. It's like, congratulations on the completion, I guess. Is that what you want me to say to you? Because he caught that ball 3 yards short or 5 yards short, 6 yards short of the line to gain. It's like, man, I'm not entirely like, yeah, I understand that you want Ja'Cour Pearson and Jacob Sailors to break these big runs, and Jacob Sailors did. Not runs, but get huge yards after the catch. It's like he did. That's good, but that's not. You can't count on that. At this point, it kind of seems like the Battlehawks are counting on that, and it didn't work this game necessarily, but it has worked in the past against some very clearly terrible defenses. It's just, man, I'm not entirely sure what they were going with this game plan on offense. It was ugly. I mean, you saw it too. It was just they had no answers, and the answers that they did have, it was way too late. And it was an ugly offensive game plan. Going into the actual position groups, okay. For the offensive line, they never got a push on the defensive line. I mean, not but maybe one or two times. It was really, really bad. I did not think that Donovan West did that bad. He was the right guard that filled in for Abdul Beachum, because Abdul Beachum has got a fucked up hand right now. I did not think that he did all that bad. Honestly, I think he might have been one of the better offensive linemen on the Battlehawks. There was a few times where it seemed like he could, especially in pass protection, it seemed like he could have probably tried to like find some extra work. Like there was a couple times, maybe there's one time specifically. I don't want to say it's a couple times. Well, it definitely was a couple times, but I remember one time specifically. The defender sent they put some sugar in the A gap. They sent two guys, two late blitzers down the middle. And Donovan West got his hand on one of them and kind of pushed him into Mike Panashuk, the center, and then just forgot about him and kind of stood there in space. And I mean, Manny Wilkins ended up pulling the ball and rushing on this one, but it's like, man, if he would have not just pushed, and I don't know what their blocking, like what kind of protection they were doing at that time. But it would have been nice to be able to see him kind of look for work, because by the time he was looking for work, it was when Manny Wilkins already pulled the ball down and was heading forward, and then he like turns to his right and blasts a defensive tackle or an edge rusher, whoever it was. But it's like, well, it's a little late for that now, man. But pass protection, it's harder for. I mean, it's a lot. The thought is that offensive linemen like to be able to like the running game, because they're able to actually hit somebody rather than pass protection, where they have to play backwards and get hit. That is true, but it's also because blocking for the run is easier than doing pass protection. It's not as hard as doing pass protection if you just pop somebody with your arm and then just kind of stand there and look around. That's a pretty easy thing to do. Hell, you and I can do that because we're pathetic people. But I would have liked to see him do that. He was worse in pass protection than he was in the run game, but the run game was not good by anybody on this offensive line. This was very clearly the Battlehawks' worst game by the offensive line in general. Didn't think that Donovan West, he wasn't, I should say this, he wasn't worse than anybody else. I'm not saying like he was like stand out, like they got something with this guy, Abdul Beachum, get ready to get Wally pipped. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that he was not worse than anybody else on that offensive line. That's the way that I want to say this. By far the worst person on the offensive line was Jared Jones-Smith, left tackle. Just beat left and right every single play. There wasn't a time. Well, no, okay, there was a few times where he didn't, and that was because the Battlehawks, for some reason, put Chase Allen, the tight end, they put him on an island with an edge rusher early in the game, and that's one of the reasons why there was that sack fumble, the one that the Battlehawks did recover on their second drive. Like that was Chase Allen just got absolutely fucking annihilated on that one. Just did not they couldn't hold a jock, man. He didn't do anything. So the only times that Jared Jones-Smith did not get beat were because somebody else was getting beat. But Jared Jones-Smith, man, he did not look like he belonged on the field. I don't know, because I know he was like all UFL left tackle last year, and I was like, how is that? Because I didn't watch him last year, and I was not like overly impressed. Like, oh, this guy's the best one on all 8 team. I guess, to be fair, he really has to be better than 7 other guys. So I guess when I say it like that, it's like not exactly hard, but like it's still watching him. I'm like, this guy's not like phenomenal or anything like that. He's not a special talent. I mean, he's in the UFL. He's not special here. But and then this game, he looked like just some fucking jamoke. He actually looked like me and you. He looked like us, like me and you. We're well, I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you dead in the eyes right now. We're talentless fucks, okay? And Jared Jones-Smith looked like a talentless fuck. Like it was brutal. That edge rusher Mincy, Mintzy, is that his name? Let me look it up because he deserves props. Andre Mincy. That guy was a fucking menace, man. That guy got so many pressures, and I know pressures aren't like everything. Like you can just stumble your way into a pressure, but he was fighting for pressures, and he abused Jared Jones-Smith. Jared Jones-Smith, buddy, that was terrible. I'm questioning how bad the backup left tackles have to be in order for Jared Jones-Smith to be playing in that game the entire time. That was brutal. The other thing I wrote down was Chase Allen blocking the edge by himself. That was terrible. In the run game, though, I mentioned that they were never able to get a push. As a matter of fact, they were getting pushed back. Like they could not body up on a defensive tackle or an edge rusher, anybody on the line of scrimmage at all. Like it was constantly things where like an inside zone, they would be blocking somebody, but then the D tackle would separate themselves. If you're watching, the D tackle would separate themselves, get a little bit of space there, swat some hands down, separate themselves, and then be able to push off and make the tackle at the line of scrimmage. It was like, you got to be able to be more physical than that. Like I remember that was the whole thing in like the first game. They're like, oh, be violent, be violent, be violent. They were not violent. Like these guys were, man, they oof. The offensive line was dog shit. I mean, run game and pass protection, they were really bad. And that's where this game was broken. That's where this game was lost. Like, yeah, Manny Wilkins had some real fucking bonehead moments in this game. Some real bonehead moments. I am not blaming that either strip sack on him. I can't. I won't. I shan't. I shan't. I will not do that. Those are not on him. I don't know. It was like to say that the vertical game wasn't there. That's what I was talking about earlier. To say that the vertical game wasn't there, it's like, yeah, they were sending wide receivers downfield, but Manny didn't have the time to get there, and that's why he was, again, checkdowns are not hot routes. Like he was checking it down rather than like you can have a guy in the passing game do something, I don't know, 10 yards if the defenders are sending the fucking heat and winning with four they're sending four guys and winning like that. I mean, obviously they're dropping 7 and they got some other guys in coverage. You can scheme guys open. You can do hot routes. You can have them hit. They didn't do any RPOs, man. And that's one thing that I've been asking for, is that when the Showboats played the defenders in week 2, I was like, RPOs are kind of working against these guys. They're bringing hard and fast pressure, but whatever the fuck, EJ Perry or whatever the hell his name is, the Showboats quarterback, was able to do a read and pull the ball and just get a quick RPO going. It's like, man, this is something that works. And the Battlehawks saw that and they're like, nah, we're not gonna do that. That'd be coward shit. It's like, actually, it's a smart thing to do, and it'll make this game watchable for people who have to rewatch it for 6 fucking hours. But yeah, no, there was just nothing there. The offensive line, this game was won and lost in the trenches, and the offensive line just was a no-show. But again, Donovan West was not worse than any other person on that line. I think that I know that. As far as the running backs go, as carrying the ball, they were nothing burgers. What was the stat lines? Jarvian Howard, 3 carries for 6 yards. Jacob Saylor, 7 carries for 1 yard. Frank Darby on that stupid fucking second play of the game where the offense, that was another thing I didn't bring up before, is the offense was getting cute. There was like 8 or 9 times this game where I was like, this offense is trying to be too fucking cute. Like they did these end arounds. Yeah, they got 7 yards on that Ja'Cour Pearson end around. It's like, congratulations. But then they were trying to do shit like a handoff reverse flea flicker to a running back. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, why? And that's like on first and third down. It's like, what? How is this? Like, if you got no answers, your answer is to make it more your attempt at an answer, your guess is to make it more complicated and try to fool these guys. Like, buddy, they're just gonna fuck you up, and that's what happened. It's like, Why are we doing end arounds? You keep getting tackled for a loss. That DeAndre Baker knows that this shit's coming. Why are you fucking doing this? Anyway, going back to the running backs. Sorry, I'm just drinking every single time I cuss. Every single time that I remember. I'm just drinking, I guess. I'm just drinking. So the running backs were a nothing burger in the running game. As pass catchers, again, Jacob Saylors was good. He was the leading pass catcher. He had 7 catches on 7 targets for 91 yards. Had 92 yards of yak. I still don't know. Is it yards? Is it he had 92 yards after the catch, or is it 92 yards after the catch? Either way, it works. Whatever. The problem with that is that Manny Wilkins threw the ball for 147 yards. I'm pulling up a calculator app right now. Manny Wilkins threw the ball for 147 yards. 1 second, I don't want to ruin this whole thing. Calculator. So 92 divided by 147. Jacob Saylors was 62.6% of Manny Wilkins' total passing yards, which is not good. But as pass catchers, yes, Jacob Saylors did really good because that's what he does. It's not exactly that he was being a good pass catcher, it's that he was getting open in space and then making guys miss. Like on his 34-yard catch and run, it was like he shrugged off that DeAndre Baker tackle and then spun out of another guy's tackle and fucking bing bang boom, 34 yards. It's like, okay, congratulations on getting that, but at some point, it's like, is this like a false positive reinforcement? Like, or no, it's just positive reinforcement for bad ideas. It's like it's so uncreative, and we're 3 weeks in, and the third team that you're playing is like, oh, they're just gonna do that to this guy, and you can take it away, heat up the quarterback, and I don't know. It's so uncreative, and it's just so uncreative. That's really all I can say, but that's whatever. This is all bad, by the way. As far as the wide receivers go, every single one of Ja'Cour Pearson's catches was behind the line of scrimmage. He got targeted 6 times, had 4 catches. Like I said, all 4 of them behind the line of scrimmage. That's really, really stupid. He did get targeted on 1 deep shot down in the middle of the field. And when I see things like that, because like he got overthrown, and I'm like, man, he's 5'8". The Battlehawks really need Hakeem Butler back. Like the Battlehawks could really use a possession receiver right now. They could really use a guy that Manny Wilkins could hammer the ball to, and just if it's overthrown, Hakeem Butler's got a great big catch radius because he's a great big guy. Not the best hands, but at least it'll be a target for him to throw it to. I did not like the screens that they were throwing to Ja'Cour Pearson. And one reason for this is that he is too fast. Like the way that they were running these screens at Ja'Cour Pearson, they would do a screen to a side where there's only one wide receiver to block for him. And there was a few times, like early on in the game, they threw it to Ja'Cour Pearson, and there were 3 defenders on him before he could even get to the line of scrimmage. And it's like, well, that can't be the way that this is, because they're counting on the offensive linemen to get out. But the thing is, with Ja'Cour Pearson, you need to be able to get him the ball, and then he can accelerate. He's a very fast guy. He's too fast to be throwing screens where you need the offensive lineman to get out there for him. You know what I mean? Like if you want when the ball gets to him, you need to be able to have wide receivers that are downfield and blocking for him, making it so he only has to make like one guy miss. Like you can't throw a screen to Jacob Saylors and be like, all right, now hold on and wait a minute, and then wait another minute so that Jared Jones-Smith can get out and block for you, because he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it in time for you to be able to do what you do best. Like I don't like the way that if they're going to do screens like this, there's other ways that you can do them, and you do them. Like, you're going to run a predictable offense. You're very clearly just going to run a predictable offense at this point. The defense knows exactly what you're going to do. Then why try to fight it? Like, like it's like then if you're gonna throw the ball to Ja'Cour Pearson behind the line of scrimmage, then at least give him a chance. Very frustrating. I'm sorry, I just swallowed that while my face was in the microphone. That was probably really gross to hear. Um, let's see. I think that their usage of Denzel Mims, number 11, I think that stinks. Like if Hakeem Butler is out, like they're just kind of running out routes with Denzel Mims and kind of some shorter stuff. I would like to see Denzel Mims be the guy. Like I said, Ja'Cour Pearson on that deep shot, small guy, not a big catch radius. Denzel Mims, that's kind of like the reason that he got drafted by, I believe it was the Jets. Is like, this guy's got a big catch radius. He can do some acrobatic shit. I would like to see them throw the ball downfield to Denzel Mims. Like, yes, if he's getting covered, because he's not nearly as speedy as Gary Jennings Jr. or Ja'Cour Pearson, but like, at least if you put the ball up to him, like he has an opportunity to make the catch. It doesn't have to be a perfect throw, especially downfield when it's a low percentage throw. Get a guy down there that can make those low percentages, just like, even if it's like a fucking 0.5% higher. Like, why would we fight? Why would we fight that? Why? Because at this point, it's just like he's eye candy, and Manny Wilkins is only going to throw it to him if like he's the first read. It's ugh. I just made an even noisier swallow into the microphone. I got to learn. I'm not going to drink that anymore. Okay. The touchdown pass that Manny Wilkins had was excellent. Through and through, it was great. The Battlehawks had good pass protection. They had two deep routes. I say they had good pass protection. It was a little bit wonky. The defenders did like a kind of a looping, like a outside to inside kind of a looping stunt, and Jarvian Howard barely got a hand on the. I believe it was a line. It was either a linebacker or a safety that was coming in. I don't think it was the edge rusher. But he barely got a hand on him. Was able to slow him down just enough for Manny Wilkins to be able to get the ball out. So Manny Wilkins is under pressure, able to fucking throw just a dime, 35 yards down the field, or what was it? Yeah, 35 yards down the field. That was beautiful. The passing combination, the route combination that they had Ja'Cour Pearson take the safety inside, and then it was just one-on-one with Frank Darby on the cornerback, and he had him beat the entire way. The cornerback had no idea where the ball was. Ball was thrown right at the line of scrimmage. Frank Darby's kind of running the guy off, slows down a little bit. The cornerback runs past Frank Darby. Frank Darby gets the ball uncontested. Not really uncontested, but you get what I mean. Just not a problem. Just smokes him right in the chest plate, and he catches it. Perfect touchdown. That was beautiful. I like it when you can get your wide receiver with a one-on-one on a cornerback, especially if you know that he can beat him. The problem is that the Battlehawks do not do this that often. I don't know entirely why. It seems like, and I said this in that ReKawp, you gotta be able to throw a couple guys down there and try to make these safeties, put them in conflict, man. Make them make a decision, and they'll make a wrong decision at some point. And you can capitalize on that. Obviously, that does mean the offensive line has to block, and that's not exactly something that we can count on, especially in this game. And then I mentioned that the tight ends in the passing game worked, but that was entirely too late. All right, let's get on to the Manny Wilkins of it all. Manny Wilkins made some bad decisions. Manny Wilkins made some real bad decisions on his first interception. Just absolutely zero anticipation. I mean, he takes a beat on the throw, and this was a third down where he threw the ball. It wasn't even past the sticks. He threw it behind the sticks, and the safety's playing the sticks and is able to come down and just absolutely in just one fluid motion. I mean, just jumps the route. Doesn't even have to just no hesitation at all. Just comes down, jumps the route, intercepts. It's like, man, you gotta not do that. You have, and then you can see that the wide receiver's open. If Manny just hits the top of his drop and just sends it, man, he just hesitated, no anticipation on the throw. You can throw it before your wide receiver is looking when it's that far downfield, because it was like a 3rd and 16 or some shit like that. He just does not have any anticipation with that throw. Easy interception. The safety's going downhill the entire way. That one sucked. Second interception. He leaves a clean pocket, bails to the right. Clean pocket. He has the opportunity to step up right in the middle, and if he steps up right in the middle, he can hit a fucking, I don't know if it was Gary Jennings or if it was Blake Jackson or if it was Denzel Mims, probably wasn't Denzel Mims, or if it was Frank Darby on a crosser on a dig route for a first down, but he bails the pocket. He doesn't step up in the pocket. It's like the one time you've got a clean pocket in this game, dude. Like the one time that you have it, you don't take advantage of it. Like what the fuck? Bails to the right. And I mean, it sucks because a couple plays before that, there's like 3 plays in this game where he does bail out to the right because he's under pressure and he throws the ball away. And it's like, all right, thank you, dude. Good decision there. But this is like, it's like a 3rd and 6. It's a 3rd and 6. You're in field goal range. You're down 15-18. Nothing has come easy this game. Why would you make it more difficult? Doesn't step up in the pocket, bails to the right, throws an interception when they're in field goal range, gets returned. It's like, well, fuck, this game's over, isn't it? Like the game already felt over. This is just like the Battlehawks' last breath of air, and then throws that stupid bullshit. And just, I mean, a terrible, it's like, man, it felt like we saw Manny Wilkins regressing in this game. It's like he hit that high point of that touchdown, and then after that, everything sucked. Like he had a scramble where he didn't slide again. I like being able to fight for a first down, and he did get the first down on it. And maybe he didn't even get a first down on that one. But he takes like a wicked hit, and it's like, dude, it's like I'm seeing this dude actively regress during this game, and then he takes his helmet off at the end, and his face is all fucked. It's like, you're doing this to yourself, kinda. I mean, your offensive line's not helping, but leaving the empty pocket, you had one clean pocket the entire game, and then he throws across the body and fucking gets picked off. And that was the second one. That one sucked. In the very end of the game, standing there, and you can see he's got some pressure in his face from the right side, and then he forces a ball, but doesn't even force it. He doesn't even like put some oomph into the ball. He just kind of lofts a ball out there to whoever the fuck was running an out route. At this point, I was just kind of frustrated with myself that I was still watching this shit. And then you look, and it's like, man, you had a tight end open right there, my dude. I don't know if it was like a Hank concept or something like that, but this tight end is open at the hash. Just does a little comeback. He's right there, open, begging to the ball to be thrown to him. He's like, fuck yeah. I got a pass to me earlier, and it actually worked. I'm a tight end catching a ball. Hell yeah, man. Why didn't we do this earlier? And then he's wide open. He's like, this one's coming to me. And then Manny Wilkins forces it to somebody else, and it's an easy interception. It's like, he never even sees the tight end. I can't remember if it was Sutherland or if it was Chase Allen, but it's like, man, I don't know. At that point, it just felt like, I mean, everything was being forced, man. It just sucked. It was so frustrating. I don't know. So Manny Wilkins, he made terrible decisions. He really did make some terrible decisions, but his completion rate of 55%, I'm not blaming that purely on him. This offensive line was dog shit for him, man. You would like him to not make those dumb decisions, but that's 3 incredibly pivotal passes out of 29. I don't know. Going into his passing chart, if you're watching, you can see it. I mean, just all this shit down here. I know the PFF thing said that he was 7 for 8 within 10, but I mean, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. 7 of those were within 5. It's like to say it's fewer than 10 yards. It's like that's technically correct, but if we split that down even further, man, he's threw 7 of those fewer than 5 yards. Man, it was just ugly. And the other one that he threw that was between 5 and 10 yards was on a 3rd and 12. He threw it 6 yards on a 3rd and 12. It's like, man, I don't fucking know it. I don't know, man. It was bad. It was really bad. It was a bad game all around by the offense. Let's get into the defense part of it. The defense, the entire thing with the defense is that they're incredibly hit or miss. It was just like, man, that was a fucking awesome play, man. Like that was just a kick-ass play. I'm just cussing now so I could drink more. Like, just that was an awesome play, or is I don't know what the fuck are you doing out there? Like I don't. It was so boom or bust. As far as the D line, they started great. Travis Feeney and Pita Talmoipenu at the beginning of the game were just shutting everything down. That first drive, man, Travis Feeney and Pita Talmoipenu were they were living in the backfield, just absolutely crushing everything from the edges. It was awesome. It kind of faded a little bit later on. I mean, Travis Feeney did kind of come alive near the end, but at that point it was a little bit too late. Pita had a much better game this game than he did in week 2. I will say this, as far as the offensive line went, they were much better when they were rushing 5 guys. Like they were overwhelming the defenders' offensive line when they were rushing 5, and I mean that makes sense. Obviously, you got they're one-on-ones across the board. I mean, for the most part. I mean, obviously, DC did 12 personnel and 11 a few times, but like that second number is it's one running back and 2 tight ends. So 12 personnel is 1 running back, 2 tight ends. 11 personnel is 1 running back and 1 tight end, kind of just like your standard thing. But for the most part, those are you rush 5, you're looking at one-on-ones across the board. Everybody on the offensive line has one single guy to block. But when they were rushing 5, they were doing really, really, really well. But then they kind of went away from that a little bit, and they were only rushing 4. And I mean, it's kind of because Jordan Ta'amu is 17 for 37, which is a worse completion rate than Manny Wilkins had, but he was 17 for 37 for 243 yards. They're like, man, we have to, like, they were beating the Battlehawks in coverage frequently. Honestly, if Jordan Ta'amu was any good, I mean, and that's kind of the thing with this, is that I said this before the game too in my bird's eye preview, is that Jordan Ta'amu's good when he has the ball in his hands. Like he'll look defenders off, he'll fake people with his eyes, with his shoulders, pump fakes and stuff like that. They'll make the right reads, but when he throws the ball, it's like, man, I don't know where the fuck this ball's going. Like I don't know what the hell is going to happen. And clearly less than half the time it's a completion. But it was like, when he had the ball, he was beating the coverage. But again, going into the defensive line, I don't know why necessarily they went away from the. Well, I do know why they went away from rushing 5, but in my mind, it's not necessarily justified. The linebackers, they were also incredibly hit or miss. Like you get, and it was all 4 of them. It was Mike Rose, Fatukasi, Willie Harvey, and Callahan O'Reilly. Like it was either they were getting in the backfield and absolutely ruining a play, getting huge tackles for a loss, or on the flip side, like Mike Rose was not good in coverage this game, but also they were like not filling the gaps, not filling the right, like they were guessing wrong on these runs. Like there was specifically one, I think Abram Smith had like a 9-yard run on a first down or something like that. There's a giant, the way the defensive line is spaced out is that there's nobody in the either A gaps or the B gap on the right side of the offensive line. It's like, well, I bet I know where they're going to run this ball. I bet they're probably going to go to this whopping 7.5-yard gap that they have right in front of them. And then Mike Rose follows one of the D tackles through the B gap on the left side. It's like, well, man, I sure would have wished you'd have been there in the A gap on the right side, because that's where the ball was going, dude. And there were some times where they did that exact thing, and Willie Harvey would come crashing down and blow up a play. It's like I don't know. Again, we're at a information deficit here. We don't know what we don't know, and we don't know what their like gap responsibilities are as linebackers, as defensive tackles, and as a defensive line and everything like that. Like we don't know what we don't know. But I'm watching this, I'm like, man, that sure would have been cool if you would have guessed right. That ball wouldn't have gone 5 yards on a first down. Like you could have made it 2 or stopped them at the line, made tackle for a loss, and sometimes they did. They guessed right and they hammered them. But the other times it's like, buddy, I I don't know what you're seeing back there. They just constantly were losing the ball carrier. It was brutal. And the same thing went for the safeties too. Quinterio Cole. Abram Smith had some Mondo, or maybe it was Deion Jackson's 28-yard run. I don't like the defenders had a tight end go in motion to the right, and they snapped the ball, or maybe he was in pulling to the right. But Quinterio Cole comes, like, if you're looking the way the offense is looking, tight end is going to the right. Quinterio Cole is on the left, and he cuts down and just follows the tight end, leaving a massive hole for this running back to just go through and gets 28 fucking yards. It's like, why are we so confident in guessing? Like, you're not doing it nearly often enough correctly to be as confident as you are. Like, I would rather have you hesitate for a second and see everything. Like, I understand, and that's Quinterio Cole's thing, is that when this guy guesses right, or maybe I'm using the word guessing too frequently for what he's actually doing. Again, we don't know what we don't know. But when he's coming down and he makes a play in the run, he makes a fucking play. Like, he hits hard. But when he's not there, man, it's like you can see it. It's like, I don't know. I wish I knew what he saw. I wish I knew what he was thinking. I wish I knew what his responsibility was, because sometimes it's like, buddy, you are just in the exact wrong place right now. And that 28-yard run was the epitome of it. It was brutal. And then in coverage, you had Chris Payton Jones was doing real good. Had an interception on a really poorly thrown ball by Jordan Ta'amu. Granted, there were two wide receivers in the area, but he didn't throw it to either one of them really, and it just landed in Chris Payton Jones' lap. And he was good in coverage, and he would blanket some people, but then other plays, he would just fuck right off, and there would be just these huge open gaps. And again, this is what I was going to say earlier, if Jordan Ta'amu was any good, he would have, this game would have been, what was the score? 27-15. This game would have been, I don't know, fucking 40-15. Like, if Jordan Ta'amu could hit a person with any sort of, like, consistency, this game would have been much better. And I know after week 2, I said that I think that the Battlehawks deficiencies in the passing game are based on their coverage, and I'm glad that at least they're not getting, like, out talented or anything like that. But this is 2 games in a row where this coverage has been yucky, and it's like this at some point the chickens are going to come home to roost. I mean, they kind of did in this game. That blown coverage on that first touchdown pass, which fucking, what was that? It was like a 60-yard pass. It was a 62-yard pass to Ty Scott, 62-yard catch and run by Ty Scott, and it was just absolutely blown coverage. But, like, and so they did kind of come home to roost then. But you got to think that at some point it's going to happen with more consistency. With a better quarterback. So that is, at this point, the flags are up. The flag, we're at this point that we've at least I have. I don't know if you have. But this game is like, I'm sure somebody would be like, oh, we're not going to smash the panic button yet. It's like, well, this is actually 2 games in a row where coverage has been kind of shitty. So yes, I'm smashing the panic button 3 weeks into the season about the coverages from these defensive backs, because when it's good, it's good. When it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's like, man, guys are wide open. Guys are wide open. So I'm officially afraid of that. Like, yes, you want good. You would like good to be a lot more often. So, and to be fair, Fred Keiss, the Defenders offensive play caller, man, that guy, he's good at it. He's good at it. He was scheming guys open, and it just made me envious to watch that. It's like, man, I wish the Battlehawks would do something like that. But yeah, no, it was, the entirety of the defense was just so hit or miss. I will say Cam Kelly's interception was fucking rad, dude. That was sick, where he's coming downhill in the middle of the field. Again, another guy, kind of like Manny Wilkins' interception. He just never 1 second didn't think he wasn't catching that ball. That was a triple negative I just fucking used, and you better respect the hell out of that I used it correctly. He was so sure-footed on that. And earlier in the game, Nate Maters almost had an interception too, the same way. The Nate Maters one was dumb though, because it hit him in his hands, And then he immediately was like, I didn't catch it. It's like, but when he put his hands up, I think the ball might even like hit him in the back of the hand. It's like, you had two options. Don't give up. Don't give up. You could have got the pick six. It was on like the 15-yard line. You could have got pick six. Pay attention. Don't be this fucking pity party. Don't know. Come on. Play until the ball hits the ground, stupid. Like, what are you? So dumb. One thing I did notice in this game, and I think that I saw it on an injury report, is that Brandon Sebastian, Battlehawks did put Brandon Sebastian on injured reserve, so he's going to be out 5 games. Because I did notice in this game, Miles Sims and, what's his name, Whiteside. Let me see if I can pull that up, because I know he was in the game. Nick Whiteside. Both Miles Sims and Nick Whiteside were getting some snaps. So Brandon Sebastian is going to be out, which stinks because I like him. In week 2, they threw the ball at him a lot, and he just blanketed people, and they maybe allowed like 1 catch or something like that. This game they targeted Chris Payton-Jones a lot. I think that the defenders saw that tape and they're like, we're not going to throw at that guy. We're not going to do that. So then they went to the other side of the field and peppered Chris Payton-Jones, which. But again, half the time worked out. Half the time was utterly pathetic that they did that. But now that Nick Whiteside and Miles Sims, I think that it's going to start going back the other direction. I think they're going to start picking on those guys because they did that a little bit later on when Brandon Sebastian left the game. So that is a frightening thing too, going into these coverage issues. But yeah, no, that's the defense. They got worn out. I think the defender's last big drive was, 11 plays for 82 yards, took 6 minutes and 16 seconds off the clock. It's like, man, I wish the Battlehawks did that again. Remember when they did that? That was pretty cool. It's a lot more fun when your team's doing that rather than when it's happening to you. It was tough. Let's get into the awards. For this. Let's have some fun with this. Try to end it on a good note. Award, Cacaw of the Week. We say every week this goes to the best player on the Battlehawks, best performance. And this week I'm going to give it to Travis Feeney because the way that he started the game, again, there's a little bit of a lull, but he was a menace in this game. He was an absolute menace in this game. The guy loves playing football. It was fun watching him. I'm going to give Cacaw of the Week to Travis Feeney, one of the consistent players on the Battlehawks. Defense sucks that he plays a rotational position because he's not on the field all the time. But when he is on the field, he makes plays and draws a lot of attention. So I like that for him. Cacaw of the Week goes to Travis Feeney. That's his first time winning it this year. Of the Week. Of the Week's the exact opposite. Cacaw goes to the good guys. There's the cacaw, and then there's the The of the Week goes to the entirety of the offensive line. And I can give it to the entirety of the offensive line because I would give it to just Jared Jones-Smith. And if there's okay, so here's what I'm going to do. The of the week goes to the entire offensive line. And my justification for that is that the entire Battlehawks offensive line won Offensive Player of the Week in week 1. So they get to, if they can accept an entire Offensive Player of the Week, they can accept the entirety of the of the week. That being said, when I'm handing the award over to somebody, I'm handing it to Jared Jones-Smith. You get what I mean. So he was the worst on the offensive line, but the offensive line sucked absolute penises. So Cacaw of the Week, Travis Feeney, that goes to the offensive line. Bad Look of the Week is going to go to Phil McGagan, because whenever they cut, again, I mentioned this before, when they cut to him, man, the guy just looked absolutely fucking dumbfounded. It was like somebody was like, hey, we're going to give you 2 sticks and you're going to have to make fire. Also, we're going to throw you in the ocean. So good luck. And then he just looked, he was like, man, the one that made me give him this though, there was one time where he had the microphone in his hand, and otherwise you would not have known it, because he was holding the microphone in his hand, or the walkie-talkie has a big antenna on it, and you could see, and the antenna was like pointing towards the camera, so it was, like portrait mode. And on your phone, like the thing that's closer to the camera gets the focus. And these are not that good of cameras that they put in the play calling booth. But he's holding it and think I'm gonna do this into the camera. Like you could see it just like shaking. And this is early on in the game too. Like you could see the man mentally breaking throughout the game. Like he was just quivering. He was quivering in the booth, and the guy blocks me, so fuck him. Bad look of the week is going to go to Phil McGagan for all of the terrible looks that he had. Bitch of the week. Bitch of the week goes to Dean Blandino. Bitch of the week goes to Dean Blandino because of that the stupid fucking his stupid bang justification that he does for super challenges. I went over this in the ReKawp. If you didn't watch it, it's on there. It's near the end of it. The guys, I don't want to work myself up. I don't even have my watch on right now because I don't want to be tempted to look at my blood pressure for this game. Also, it died. That's the second part's probably the bigger reason. But I hate it. His justification, like, oh, well, I know it's a challenge, but we want to look at it at the same speed that the ref saw it. It's like, that's not the fucking point of this, jack shit. That's not the point of this at all. Like, if you're whenever you go and review a fumble, you're slowing it down frame by frame to see if somebody's arm touched the ground first. You can't just have a different justification for one play over the other, especially when a team goes out of their way to use their one challenge of the game for it. Like, you can't be like, we're going to slow it down for fumbles, we're not going to slow it down for a DPI. Like, you use some consistency. You bitch. You're a bitch of the week, Dame Blandino. Fuck you, you goddamn bitch. I haven't done this one in a minute. I haven't done this one at all this year, actually. I don't even know how often I did it last year. Donkey kick of the week. This just goes to a guy with a big leg. And to be fair, both of the Battlehawks kickers, and I shit on Rodrigo Blankenship when I was doing like a preview of like the new guys before the season started, and I kind of shit on him because I don't necessarily think that he's a great kicker, but he did kick a 56-yard field goal. However, Stephen Hoffrichter kicked 2 65-yard plus punts in this game, which is fucking wild. He did one out of the end zone. He kicked the ball. It went in the air for 65 yards. He kicked it from the end zone to the defender's, what would that be? 25-yard line? No, 35-yard line. That's a donkey dick. Stephen Hoffrichter's got a fucking hog on him. That's a donkey kick of the week. So yeah, Stephen Hoffrichter. Yeah, it's good that it also doesn't help that I disagreed with both of the Battlehawks of the 4th and 3 field goals. I think if you're going to kick a field goal from 4th and 3, you should just go for it. And honestly, watching this offense, maybe that would have been idea, but I'm going to stick to my guns. If it's 4th and 3 and you're kicking a field goal, especially in this league, listen, in week 2, got to the stadium early. I saw Rodrigo Blankenship kicking, like doing his warm-up kicks. The guy could not make a kick from plus 50. He couldn't. He might not even have made a kick from plus 45. When they lined up for that 56-yard field goal, I looked at my wife sitting next to me and said, you remember last week when we saw him trying to do these things with no pressure? He was missing spraying it, not having enough leg. He did everything but make a field goal in warm-ups from 45 plus. And then I'm like, this is stupid that they're trying to do this. And then sure as shit, he kicks a 56-yard field goal. So unfortunately for him, I don't agree that he should have been on the field. But also, Stephen Hoffrichter's got the fucking thing on him, man. He's got a thing on him. He got a big old piece of meat hanging between them pieces of meat, man. Stephen Hoffrichter, donkey kick of the week. My last award for the week is going to be well, that didn't work. Well, that didn't work of the week. It's like, that didn't work. And this is going to go to Anthony Becht for his pump-up speech in the locker room. The broadcast gave us a little bit of a key in on what Anthony Becht was telling his team before the game. And he said, the way he ended it, he said, wherever you've been in a dark place, bring that mentality, bring it on the field today. He wanted people to think of the lowest they've ever been in their lives. At least that's the way I'm interpreting it. And apparently that's also the way that the offense and the entire team interpreted it. They're like, hey, you remember when you've been sad? Be sad again. It's like maybe be like, however angry you've been. there's other words. But to say whenever you're in a dark place, like, man, remember when you got cheated on and you were driving home over a river and you were on a bridge and you wanted to yank the steering wheel aside and kill yourself? Bring that to the game. It's like, no, don't bring that. Don't bring that. Tony, that didn't work. That didn't work, man. Don't tell people to get into a dark place. Hey, remember when you were in utter depression? Bring that mentality. Remember when you were sad beyond all repair? Bring that onto the field. It's like, no, not dark place. Not dark place. Remember when you were seeing red? Remember when you needed to fucking kill somebody? Remember that person cut you off in traffic when you were driving home after your girlfriend cheated on you and you wanted to drive off a bridge and then that guy cut you off and you just were like, I'm actually going to follow him home and beat the shit out of him? Do that. But let's channel that energy, not the depression. Tone. Why are we channeling that? What a crazy thing to ask somebody to. Remember when your dog died and you were super sad? What if you blocked like that? And apparently that's what Jared Jones Smith was like. Oh, yeah, I am sad today. Okay, so that's it. That's a ReKawp. I started off the show this way. I really do hope that this is a burn the tape, bury the tape, burn the ashes, bury the ashes. That's kind of what I'm hoping this one is. That's really, really what I'm hoping this one is. The Battlehawks really need a win. This week they're playing the Arlington Renegades, and they're a good team. So they really do need to come back with a vengeance on this one. But we'll see. But that is the ReKawp. That is the ReKawp. Go Birds, go Battlehawks, go Ironbirds. Cause the law still. Martial law, I guess, is probably what they need to kind of enforce at this point. Anything you really say, somebody's going to like just translate that as like, oh, that's a Battlehawks guy. Like I was driving today and I was getting off on 270. Going westbound on 70 towards St. Charles, and the way that entrance ramp is right there. But some fuck shit got in a single car accident, and it added 20 minutes to my drive. There's a single car accident, and they're just fucking putzing around over there. It shut down like 2-3 lanes. It's like, what the fuck? So I rolled down the window and I was going 15 miles an hour. Because listen, I have no patience for that shit. Single car accident, you fucked up. That's on you. Single car accident. The person, I rolled down the window and I drove by. Go fuck yourself, you fucking moron. Take a drink for that one. But when I yelled that, obviously the way that hopefully the way that they kind of translated that was, I fucked up. I probably shouldn't have gotten this single car accident. But what they probably did was they're probably like, oh, it's just a Battlehawks guy. Because that's what happens. All right, awesome. I will talk to you guys on Friday with a bird's eye preview for the Battlehawks Week 4 game against the Arlington Renegades. I will talk to you later. Bye.